Okay, so today what we're going to do is we are going to draw Angel, and we're going to finish off with the final piece, but I feel like if I just draw the final piece, people don't really learn. So we're going to start with the studies I did of Angel so I could get this final piece. So the first thing I did was I went and I found a reference image from the show, and the first thing I do is I basically create a reflection. And to make sure the reflection is perfect, I basically flip the first image so it's a reflection. And then start by drawing very general shapes, figuring out how the character is constructed. So, like the head is a square with a little bit of a bump on the thing, and then with two triangles coming out. And as I go, I slowly draw lines. And this stage, I'm not really concerned about perfect lines. I want the general shape. And then I go in and I refine in black. And I start out with blue because it's doesn't hurt my eyes to look at blue for a long period of time, and some other colors like orange and stuff will hurt my eyes. So Angel actually has one eye that's black and one eye that's like normal. I guess normal's the relative term. So here I'm basically doing some discovery and figuring out where the eye looks perfect. And if you look, Angel has basically it's a very interesting combination of creepy, cute, and like evil. So you have to kind of try to and floofy, very floofy. And his hair is it just it's very interesting. If you try to draw Angel from the front, it doesn't look right because I've done some studies of it, and it looks kind of like an axe if you draw it in 3D. It's very interesting. So do his floofy hair, and then we got a bow tie here, and then we got he wears a very interesting costume, which is basically red gloves, and then like a tuxedo almost type thing with I believe it's either hot pants or a skirt. Going in and defining his legs. They're very skinny. Busy Pop tends to draw characters very skinny, so the lines can be very expressive, which is good. So at least for this style. So everybody's very skinny, but that's intentional. So thigh-high boots, and I have problems sometimes with getting the character to head to be in proportion. So sometimes I'll go back and use an editing tool to fix that. Here we're going to go ahead and do the legs. And actually, is actually an albino spider, and I've noticed recently that I have a lot of characters that I really like that are actually albino spiders. It's very strange. You would think that'd be a kind of a rare character, but I have like three characters I love that are albino spiders for some reason. One of them's from Demon Slayer, and the other one's from I'm a Spider, So What, which is the main character is an albino spider. So apparently it's a very common character for whatever reason right now. So here I accidentally drew the hand on the wrong layer, so I'm going and redrawing it. I drew it on the blue layer for some reason. So finishing off the hands, doing some little proportion to make sure the proportions are correct, making the hand a little bit more flamboyant is what I would say. Now here, I learned this trick from another YouTuber where basically I flip the character art and then I change the perspective a bit to give myself an easy way to do a back view. So that way I have the character from the front and the back fairly easily as a reference. Just basically, the hands are a little bit of a bother because basically, like, it's very hard to do 6 hands, and he actually had like like 4 hands, but he can like retract a pair. So here he's got 6 hands instead of 8 hands. So now we're going to do the side view, and what I basically do is I create lines going out from Angel on all the important parts, and I'm doing that so I make sure I get all the parts correct. And I go ahead and I draw again, just little changes to make it from the side, but keeping the character the same. Making sure his eyes is correct and giving him his teeth. His cute and evil teeth. I'm working here a little bit on inking because I'm a little bit out of practice. And inking is something I'm not horribly good. I'm okay at it with traditional media, but with digital media, I'm a little bit out of practice. And he does have a little bit of a chest, so go ahead and make sure you give him that. Drawing his poof on his arm, which is basically it's got like from the 80s they had like these power shoulder things. He's almost got that kind of feel going. He's supposedly, I think when he's from the 1920s is when he's from. So kind of like a gangster type feel. Go ahead and give him his high heel boots. I'm pretty sure his feet are shaped the same way because some of the other characters are actually, they have the same shape, and I've seen them without the shoes, and the feet are actually shaped that way. So we're going to go ahead and flip that art so we don't have to do it twice, and then just make sure the eye is correct. Now here I'm going to do a head study where I'm just drawing the head. And it's a square with like a little half circle coming out and then 2 triangles. So I'm going to draw that kind of shape in several different permeations, and then basically work on finishing out those heads so I can get different emotions and different angles to get more of a feel for the character. So basically, like, and you see here I'm drawing half moons to kind of like think of the character in different ways. So it's like a half moon with like a square and a circle. So now we're giving him different emotions here, just to kind of make sure we got the character down. And also so we have like this kind of exercise is called a model sheet, and it's used a lot in animation classes and cartoons and stuff to make sure you have a character right from all angles, and that's basically what we're making here. So often you also do like an alphabet, so you'll do like A, B, C, D, and then like do the characters like how they look talking. So that way you can make sure all your artists work in tandem together. So this is basically what we're kind of creating. I've never seen one publicly available, so. But I enjoy doing these because it's something I used to do when I was doing cartoons when I was younger. So I just enjoy doing these. So give him his, he kind of has 3 floofs on each side, and you have to kind of make sure that those floofs are floofy. Here I'm giving him one where he's kind of surprised or angry. Something like that, like a surprised, angry kind of look. Or maybe disappointed. I'm not sure what this look is, but I like it. Finishing off the hair here a bit. And I go back in and ink these a little bit more dynamically later, and I'm not sure I like the look, but I do that because, like I say, I'm trying to work a little bit on inking a bit. Here we're giving almost a bashful look. And I did the floof in the original phases. I gave it a little bit more curve, but I didn't like it, so I can go back in and change that later. So I decided I want him a little bit less curved. Here's more of an evil look, because again, it's basically evil cute is the look we're going for here. And I'm going up for a little bit more abstract a bit because I feel it makes it look angrier and more evil. So I'm kind of giving him more range here by giving him a little bit of a less cute, more evil look by going more towards evil. So now I'm going to do some gesture studies, and what these basically are is I'm drawing basically stick figures and playing with poses, and then going in and basically this will be the I'll do 2 or 3 of these, and then figure out which one I like best, and do a final piece with it. So we're doing one here where it's kind of like very flowy, and then I do another one where it's from the back, and we're smoking a cigarette, kind of sassy. I think I go with the flowy one because it's fun to do flowy poses a little bit better. So we're gonna explore these a little bit more before I decide. Give it like a pouty look. And again, this is why I do from different angles in the beginning, so I can visualize from behind a little bit better. If I don't do that, sometimes I guess I'm just OCD. I like doing making sure I get the character from the back too. Playing with his legs there, which are, I think they're called digigrade legs, is what these are called. So we're doing more of a like free, loose pose here, again, showing off, kind of, and that's why I kind of like that one. I decided it was more in line with what I was wanting to do. So now we're going to do like a quick color study. I take my reference art out and I grab the colors from the original art, and I basically find a place to put it that looks decent because I'm going to release the entire model sheet after this, so I want it to kind of look complete. So we're not going to spend too much time on this, but I go through and figure out like what the colors scheme is. And then basically I'm just drawing in the colors. And he doesn't look right without his spots, so I do not know why, but I'm really bad at using the paint bucket. I'm getting better, but I'm bad at closing in the art. So sometimes I'll be like using it and it'll freak out on me. Doing a little bit of shading on the legs here. Not much, because I don't think it adds that much to the character sheet. I think shading in some of the white does add a little bit more depth and make it look more 3D though, so I go ahead and do that. So the shading I do on the white parts and not so much the other parts. Finishing out the stripes. And the spots. So we're going to go ahead and select the sketch I did earlier, and we're going to finish it out and basically make it more complete. So this one we're actually going to take time on because this is the final piece that I like, and I'm going to shade it a little bit more detailed compared with the other ones. So we go ahead and we start with the sketch, and we're going to go ahead and make sure that the eyes look correct. And the black eye, you have to make sure it's always a little bit skinnier than the other one. It's kind of like he's got an evil eye and a good eye. So you have to make sure that one of the eyes is a little bit cute. Finish an inking. Now, what I basically do is I take the shade color, and if you can see, I have like a little bit of a sun there. And I'm making sure that the light source is from behind, so he's backlit. So the way I do this is I kind of know where colors. I've done a lot of like lighting studies. If people are interested in lighting studies, I might do one eventually. But then on top of that, I do just the colors and I put it on multiply, so that way the shading comes through. And I don't want to do the shading too dark, but it almost seems a little bit too light sometimes. But I go back and I add more color later, so that'll be okay. So we're going through and coloring all the red parts. And then the brown parts. His boots and his skirt. Then we're going to add some like highlights here. And finish out the last little bit of color. Playing a little bit of color here. I'm actually shading in some parts darker red and some parts darker pink, just so I can kind of. So yeah, I give him shade here, and then I blur it out a bit, so it's a little bit more of a gradient style, which is kind of typical of the cartoon actually, to have like a gradient shading. And again, here we're adding more highlights, make it shinier. We're only doing those on the outside towards the light that we've created. Just putting them where I think it'll make it look shiny. And then once I finish that, I actually do go in and add a green background. And the reason for that is green is actually the complementary color of red, and it makes it stand out more, I think. And also, it makes it easier to separate out later. So there's the finished piece, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.